Hi folks, Tom here from the Dreamcast Junkyard, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at this. This is the brand new book from Read Only Memory. This is Sega Dreamcast, The Collected Works. This was a Kickstarter that was successfully funded back in 2017. I was a backer, so I've got my copy now. There are several other versions of this book with different covers. There are signed versions and all different kinds of Kickstarter tiers. I went for the standard version. This is the standard Kickstarter backer version. I believe the version that is available on the website, on the ROM website, is this version. So you can see that if you just go down to the description, and you'll see the link and the written version of this review. Well, it's not really a review; it's just a flick through for the sake of being able to show you the rather impressive insides of this video. Of this book. So, yeah, Sega Dreamcast Collected Works. The second book from ROM based on a Sega console. The first one was the Sega Genesis Mega Drive one that came out in 2014. And yeah, this very much follows in the same kind of vein as you would imagine. So, first things first, what you get on the book is this very nice kind of I think it's called a hydrographic foil or something like that. It's quite reflective, you can see there in the light, and you've got a nice picture of a Dreamcast. On the back we have the Dreamcast controller ports, lettered A through D, as you would imagine. And yeah, let's take that off, because if you do take that off, you get this rather nice Dreamcast swirl with the Dreamcast logo and the Japanese text there as well, and it's embossed, it's kind of inlaid, and I think it's black. It looks blue in daylight, but it's actually black. And there you've got the Sega Dreamcast Collected Works Read Only Memory title at the top. It feels very nice, feels very solid. It's a very solid book. I can just move that out of the way. So let's go inside between the covers. First thing you'll notice when you open this book is that there's a flap here. When you open that flap, you get all of these VMU artworks or dot matrix kind of displays, the things that you would see on a VMU when you turn a particular game on. And they are very cool, I'm sure you'll agree. I won't dwell too much on those though. I just want to quickly kind of blast through this really, just to give you an idea of what to expect in the book. Because photographs can do so much, but it's only when you actually get to flick through it that you kind of see the quality and the thickness of the pages. So we've got the menu here, and yeah, the book is set out into different chapters that talk about the beginnings of the Dreamcast, and then you've got things like the concept where the design of the console came from. There are schematics of the Dreamcast console itself, and then there are interviews with people who made certain games for the system. So, there's a lot here, and this weighs in I forgot to mention that it's over 300 pages. It's 320 pages. Let me just show you the thickness of the book as well. I mean, it's a pretty heavy-looking book. It looks like yellow pages. It's really solid, and a lot of stuff in here. So let's move on past the menu. So the first couple of chapters are really just a kind of background on the Dreamcast. If you are a fan of the Dreamcast, if you know your stuff, you more than likely know all this stuff anyway. It's just about the origins of the system. And then you've got some sound bites, sort of snippets from different interviews around the internet and from different publications, different websites with people who actually were involved in the creation of the system. So you've got people like Peter Moore and Bernie Stolar. And then interspersed between those, you've got these, there's the kind of sketches with, from different games. I think this is from Shenmue. You can see the motorcycle scenes. These are just like rough sketches from the development of the game. So the first couple of chapters are really just, about the history of the console. I'm not going to stop and let you read every page. Obviously, if you want to stop the video and look at them, you can. But yeah, they've got interspersed artwork. These are sketches from Jet Set Radio, I believe. Yep. So flicking through. This is all just about the history of the Dreamcast and what happened to it and why it failed and blah 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 blah. So more production sketches for this one's from Sonic Adventure. I think that's the intro to Sonic Adventure, looks like. If you do actually own this book, if you go and buy it from the wrong website, I'm sure you'll spend some time looking at those because they are very interesting. This is all about the arrival of the Dreamcast. Some artwork there for Jet Set Radio. Let's move on. I do like this kind of, what do you call it, like a filler page where there's, this page is left intentionally blank. It's kind of like a sort of a jazzy sort of 90s style of artwork that you would get in the Dreamcast era. Moving on, some more artwork, some more information about the Dreamcast. Yeah, so you get stuff like this that's not really been seen before outside of this book. Obviously, this book was, well, not obviously, but this book was created in collaboration with Sega themselves. So they do they did have access to some actual proper archive stuff that you won't have seen anywhere else, which is really cool for a fan of the system. Now, this is where it gets kind of real, if you will. This is a schematic of the Dreamcast console from the development of the system, the hardware. So this is the kind of thing that probably won't have been seen before. So you've got, it's all in Japanese. You've got the sort of the measurements of the different parts of the case design, even down to like the vents on the back of the system here. These fold out rather nicely. All these technical drawings. Hope I'm doing a good enough job of showing you those. And yeah, more stuff here about the development of the system. Let's move on. Like I say, I'm just going to quickly flick through this so you can get an idea of the book and make a decision on whether or not you want to jump in and buy it. But yeah, there's some stuff from some wireframes, some Sonic Adventure. As you can probably tell, like I say, the pages are really high quality, really thick. There's the old mirror from Shenmue. Some more schematics. This is for the VMU. And on this side you've got schematics for the actual controller itself, the rear and the front of the controller. Moving swiftly on. More Shenmue. Now, this is the stuff that really interested me in this section here, which is all about the early design concepts for the book, for the console. So you've got a company called GK Dynamics, which is still actually in existence. If you go on the website, if you just search GK Dynamics on Google or whichever search engine, you'll find them. They seem to do like motorcycle, concept designs these days, but it looks like they were charged with, coming up with some concepts for the Dreamcast. Some of these are really kind of off the wall. This one here, looking like some kind of skull with a spinal cord attached to it. I mean, can you imagine that underneath the TV? Look at that. It's like a dry ski slope or something. There's over here 64. It says 64-bit on it. These are really cool. I mean, this thing here looks like some kind of dinghy with a cartridge slot in it. Then you've got the controllers kind of laying on it to charge. That thing there looks like some kind of spaceship design. These are more disc-based machines here. One that actually looks like it's got a controller that attaches to a base unit and then comes off. Not dissimilar to what how the Switch works now, I suppose. But back in the sort of early to, or rather the mid-90s, that kind of thing was unheard of. This one here is interesting because it looks a lot like the final design of the Multi-Mega, which actually obviously was released. But some of these are quite out there. I won't just show them all because obviously people who've bought the book would like to see them and have a reason to buy the book. So some shots of different peripherals, VMU, controller, good old fishing rod, arcade stick, gun, twin stick, Dream Eye, karaoke unit, Divers 2000. And then we get into the games themselves. So here is some kind of artwork, some shots of the different logos. Many of these will be familiar to you if you are a fan of the system. Sega Gaga there, Samba de Amigo, House of the Dead 2. Some nice artwork for Jet Set Radio. Even though a lot of this stuff can be found online, it's not really ever been produced in this quality in print before. So hats off to the authors for getting all this stuff. Some high quality renders there from Sega Rally 2, Sega Bass Fishing, Outrigger 18-wheeler, Shenmue, more Shenmue, and more Shenmue, Virtua Fighter 3TB, and Jet Set Radio characters, artwork, designs. More Phantasy Star Online. And some Shenmue sketches. Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, naturally. Puyo, I believe that is. Outrigger. It's interesting that a lot of these games that are shown in this book are all kind of first-party ones. I wouldn't have minded seeing some Spirit of Speed 1937 renders, because that is a particular favourite of mine. More Sonic Adventure stuff. Sonic doll. Tails doll there. Obviously, Space Channel 5. House of the Dead 2. Zombie Revenge. Crazy Taxi again. And then we've got a kind of almost like a bibliography there of, or a guide to what is in the preceding section. Sorry, I hope this is straight. So yeah, the most, well, for me at least, the most impressive aspect of this book is the final section, which is interviews with people who actually made the games that we all know and love. So it's the makings of, and they're kind of like round table discussions about each game. So first we begin with making Shenmue. And it says down here on the introductory screen, the introductory page even of each discussion, who the interviewees are. And these are actually really kind of insightful, because there's a lot of stuff here that I certainly didn't know about before and comes straight from the horse's mouth, as it were, from the developers of these games. And each one obviously is furnished with a little bit of extra artwork for each game. So the making of Space Channel 5 is next. If you have any affinity with the Dreamcast or a fan of the Sega of the sort of mid to late 90s, this is something that you will really find some worth in, because it's kind of like a glimpse behind the curtain, stuff that you probably never read before and probably didn't know. I certainly didn't know a lot of this, and I've been sort of looking into Dreamcast random weirdness for over 10 years, well more than. So yeah, and this is interesting because this is the making of Sega Gaga, which is one of the most sort of enigmatic games of the Dreamcast. Never received a Western release, and is one of those games that is sometimes it's going to get a Western translation, sometimes it's not. One of the biggest search terms that we have on the Dreamcast Junkyard is Sega Gaga English release, and I think one of the guys on the site did an article about the English fan translation a few years ago, and it still gets so many hits because people just haven't been able to play it, and it's such a legendary game. And to be able to read, an interview with the people who made the game in English is, well, it's practically unheard of, really. Making of Res. Lots of nice sketches there, and some more artwork. This is more Shenmue stuff. This looks like some of the sort of promotional artwork now for what the Dreamcast could do. Space Channel 5. So yeah, this is like I say, it's a very brief flick through. I think what we're on now, 14 minutes, 15 minutes. But it just gives you an idea of what to kind of expect when buying this book. I'm going to flick all the way to the back now, because I think you've seen probably quite enough of that. In the final section, we do get the shout out for all the people who backed the book. Obviously, quite a few of us. A lot of people here I recognise, names I recognise, so that's quite cool to see that people from the Dreamcast community have almost come together to back this publication. And the bibliography, which also includes a special shout out to one of my own articles, which was very cool. Thank you to the authors for that, for giving me credit. And then the back inside cover, you do get this Shenmue bookmark, which is nice. You can see that. And then on the back inside cover, you've got another load of VMU artworks. So yeah, that's a brief kind of leaf through the book. Hope it was of some interest to people who might have an interest in getting this book. But I would wholeheartedly recommend it. I'm just going to fold these back up. Because as you can see, it is a very nicely put together publication. And any Dreamcast owner or any Dreamcast fan would be, recommended to pick this up. It's £35 from the ROM website plus shipping. And yeah, what can I say? It's fantastic. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for putting up with my voice and my cat-handed efforts at leafing through that. But yeah, thank you very much. Goodbye.